we just had a child who's 11 months. Well, she's going to be 11 months on Friday.
Yeah.
And India said to me that I think we were in an argument at one time, and she said, "Oh, that's why I didn't want to have a baby with you."
Mm-hmm. I did.
And
I did say that.
I'm sorry. Okay, you're upset, and you said something that you didn't mean. But you cannot convince her that that's not what she meant. Mm-hmm. So where do I go with this? Mm-hmm. What do I do?
See, here's the tough part, because he says that right here, right now, that he's trying to convince me that that's not what I believed. But that's how I felt. Mm-hmm. Because Dale has another child. Mm-hmm. He's been married before. And so he already knew what to do here. He's already done this. So I was feeling criticized. Mm-hmm. And this is why I was afraid to, to parent with him. I feel, he just makes me feel inadequate in everything. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I think bruh is a weak man. I think dude is a weak man. And the reason being is because, look, I understand that women will always, they're all about feels, even though that they claim that, hey, well, we mature faster, we're the smartest ones, we're the most educated. They always seem to fall victim to their own emotions. They always bring up what I feel. Well, what about what is? Right? Well, what about what is? What about something that we can prove? Right? Now, of course, as you can hear the whole little conversation, it was pretty much she felt that, hey, well, of course we had this argument and I said what I said to him. I just felt that way. And I feel as a wife that I'm not really, he really doesn't prioritize me. That's all that really sounds like. He doesn't prioritize me. He really doesn't put me to the forefront, because she's saying, well, he makes me feel inadequate, makes me feel like I'm not enough. It's I feel. And it seems like the man is doing everything he's supposed to. But the reason I say he's a weak man, because it seems like she controls the relationship. It seems like she definitely controls a relationship, and he doesn't have that much of a backbone. The fact that you have to even come up on here and even talk about it is mighty wild. But I mean, it just seems like he does not have a hold in that relationship, and he has a woman who is very sporadic, who is just on go every time. You may say something, she's going to automatically explode. Let's read the comment.
Every time there's an issue, she comes to me with guns blazing. Mm-hmm. It's never, okay, let's talk about this, or let's discuss this. I have a problem.
I never come guns blazing. Mm-hmm. I come and we have a conversation, and it escalates when I feel like I'm not being understood, or if I'm being dismissed, or if I'm not being heard at all.
I mean, I'm not saying. I think we have different tolerance levels, and I think when India has a plight, it's very quick for her to get to, okay, now it's explosive.
Mm-hmm. But I don't like the way you make me feel. You make me feel angry, aggressive, and like the villain, when I was the one, in my mind, was the victim.
Yeah.
Just trying to communicate to you what my problem is.
So someone in the comments says, nah, fam, she meant it, and now she trying to spin it. That's crazy. Then somebody else says, be careful who you getting pregnant. That's long-term stressing. Then somebody else says, she probably feels inadequate in everything because her insecurities and her capabilities as a mother causes her to constantly be combative, right? That's another thing. She's very combative, right? Very combative. You can just tell by her demeanor. Once again, your women who claim to have the most degrees, who claim to be smarter than your man, who claim to mature faster, they still wouldn't even pick up on something like this. Which is mighty sad. Right, which is mighty sad. But if you were aware that he has done this before and knows more than you, Why not follow his lead so he can teach you? Situations like this make the insecure person super sensitive and see everything as an attack. Once again, as I stated, she's very impulsive. We're going to see another video of them. Then he goes on to say he most likely has nothing to do with her feelings of inadequacy. People need to realize that parenting is a team sport and not a competition. I mean, and then she tries to spin it, as you heard in the comment section. And then she tries to spin it and says, well, you know, Dale has a child with another woman and he's already done it before. So I just feel like I'm just lacking in some areas. Ma'am, what are you talking about? You need to, and this is what I'm saying, women just focus on the wrong things. That does not make any sense. Focus on things that does not make any sense. Why would you want to sit here and compare yourself? That's essentially what you're doing. You're comparing yourself to this man's ex-wife, which if his ex-wife was the best thing in the world, once again, that would be something that you would want to emulate. But that's not even something that she's even worried about. She just feels. And this is where women have the issues. She just feels that, hey, well, listen, I just can't. It seems like I just will not be able to perform the way he wants me to. That's another reason. I don't think I'm gonna be able to perform the way he wants me to, along with being combative and all that extra stuff. But she just feels that, hey, I just can't hold up. I feel like he's already had it all. Well, once again, that's why he's bringing you into it. Now, obviously, the first relationship didn't work. Now you with them, make it work. But then once again, now you're going to try to bring some outside forces that has nothing to do with you to try to dictate on how you're going to be treated in this relationship, quote unquote, how you feel like you're being treated in this relationship, what you feel like you can provide in the relationship, and what he has with his child. So then somebody else says, dude needs to cut bait, establish paternity, set up child support, and move on. She meant every word, and she has already convinced herself it wasn't going to work. In essence, she instigated a situation in order to get out of the situation she chose. Couple that with him already having fathered a child, altered her fantasy, right? That's the thing, right? She felt, man, because I'm pretty sure if the dude didn't have a child, she would be feeling a whole lot different, and it would be all about her, right? And that I'm glad he said fantasy, because obviously it seems like she's thinking that, hey, well, listen, I can have something with this guy, maybe something can sprout out of this guy, hoping something sprout out of this guy, but nothing really sprouted out of this relationship. And it's all about how I feel. I feel like I'm not going to be able to have the exact fantasy, like he said, that I want with this guy, because he's already had a child with somebody else. But he also brought up the point that, hey, well, listen, she was just literally looking to get out of the situation as well. She was looking to get out of the situation. So then somebody says she literally acknowledged that she said it because it's honestly how she felt. Everyone is so busy being offended that you're not listening to what she meant by it and why she said it. Listening is an important tool, right? This is where your sister is, right? Your women always try to school somebody or try to make it seem that they're smarter than what they really are. When sister, you're not. You're just being disingenuous. You're just being disingenuous. This is where your women try to be intellectually disingenuous, and they try to sun you. Well, this is why listening is very important. Man, you're not even listening to your damn self. You're not even listening to your damn self. How are you interpreting it this way? She then goes on to say, it was said at a time when she was being heavily criticized by him. He makes her feel inadequate in everything. And so she didn't want to have a child with him because she felt he would make her feel inadequate in that also. And that's exactly what he did. But he didn't, though. It seems that he does everything he's supposed to do for this woman. It seems that he communicates. That's what women want, communication, all of this. But then it will always be something new that a woman will put on you. It will always be something else that a woman will want you to do. Where it's like, man, Amber, you wanted me to do this. You wanted me to do this. You wanted me to do this. I'm not a perfect guy. And this is the sad thing about women, because women say nobody's perfect, but then they expect the man to be perfect. That's just a fact. They expect the man to be perfect. If you do not expect the man to be perfect, what is your issue in this situation? The man didn't cheat on you. The man didn't hurt you. The man didn't abuse you. The man did not do anything to you but make sure he was there for you. But of course, for a woman, and as you can see in the comments, for a woman, that just ain't good enough. She feels inadequate. Listen, if I'm doing everything as a man to make sure that you're succeeding in your position, and you still say, hey, well, I feel like you're not doing much for me, what more do you want? And that's what you're dealing with a lot of your women today. They are hard to please. You can give them everything that they want, and it still ain't good enough. Prime example, look at Daphne Joy, right? Up in the Diddy trial. Nothing satisfied her, right? Nothing satisfied her. Now, of course, we already know she's trying to just get some money. She's trying to get back at him, but nothing never satisfied her. You're getting your rent paid. You're living in a home that costs $10,000 a month. Bro, that's a luxury. That's a luxury. But of course, that was never good enough for her. That was never good enough for her. And the sad thing about it is nothing is ever good enough for women. You have many women in your marriages. This is the reason why 70 to 80% of your women are divorcing men at a very high rate. Because once again, a lot of them, they just can never be pleased. Well, man, you had the home, you had this, you had that. This is why you have the statement that your women are willing to sacrifice their family, something good that they have with a man, for their own happiness. That's all that is here. That's all that is here. The man didn't cheat. The man didn't do anything. A lot of these men never cheated. A lot of these men have did what they were supposed to do to make sure that the woman is put in a great position, and these women still leave. Prime example, Tia Mowry. You cannot satisfy that woman. But this is literally how a lot of your women think. And a lot of your women will validate and say, well, nah, Tia Mowry, she's right.
The narrative. You know, my marriage was a success.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a curriculum when you're in college or high school, right? You're learning, you're growing, you're evolving, you're creating. And I was able to create with Corey some beautiful, amazing children. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at the end of that curriculum, and at the end, there's a graduation, there's a celebration. Mm-hmm. So that's basically, you know, how I'm looking at it now. And I feel like people when they look at marriage, that success equals longevity. But no, at the end of the day, it's, are they happy?
She's right. Yeah, she graduated from her marriage. No, like she wasn't happy. Now look at her. Right now look at her. So I mean, it just proves our point as to why you just do not want to deal with women here in America, because they are hard to please. And then when you do marry them, all they're going to do is divorce you, take half of your stuff, and go on about their day, and leaving you left holding the bag. And then they're going to go around here and go play victim in the next relationship. This is another reason why we say, man, you can never truly take what a woman says at face value. Because every time you ask a woman, well, what happened to your last relationship, they will always make it a man issue. I'm telling you right now, when she goes to another man, a man said, well, what happened to the last relationship? You know, he just made me feel inadequate. You know, he just really wasn't there for me. He wasn't this, he wasn't that when he was. But he just get the short end of the stick because he decided to pick a woman that just don't understand what reciprocating value is. And that's pretty much most of your women here in America. Most of your women, if not all of them, do not know how to reciprocate value. This is what you're going to get. But do me a huge favor, leave me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel.